This is the Milo Beasley Show. This is the Milo Beasley Show. There's only one thing you need to know. This is the Milo Beasley Show. And now, here's your host, Milo Beasley.
And welcome to the Milo Beasley Show. This week, hanging out here at Slammin' Ladies. Special guest this week, Chris Masters. How you doing, buddy?
Good. And I got this guy with me.
Yeah, hanging out with Mr. Bearsley, my co-host. Hopefully he has some good questions, better ones than myself. So what brings you down here to Florida?
Tiana Ringer. But besides that, I mean, I did have a show last night over in Kissimmee, Florida.
Oh, yeah, the new generation.
Exactly. The saga continues. That went very well.
Yeah.
A lot of loud, crazy Puerto Ricans over there and regular fans, of course. And here we're at Customs today with Tiana Ringer.
So, yeah, you were wrestling on a baseball field last night.
Yes.
Do you feel like that is a little bit...
What are you doing?
Do you feel that going from a baseball or like an arena or to wrestling to a baseball stadium where it's open and there's people all around you is do you think that you feel the difference there, or is it all just pretty much the same? Once you're in a ring, you're in a ring.
Yeah, the energy in a baseball field just spread out because it's outdoors. It's cool.
Yeah, we're being attacked.
The energy is just spread out, and obviously you don't have the audience surrounding you like
right.
an arena. So you got like three sides of the ring where you basically kind of don't have audience, or at least they're far out in the distance. So, and I'm used to it from Global Force Wrestling. Had a bunch of shows that were on baseball field. So it's not the ideal scenario for pro wrestling, obviously, because the energy just travels right into the air. Essentially, it doesn't stay confined within the building. But yeah, it was still fun. That was actually one of the better responses that I've heard from a crowd than what we had yesterday for a baseball stadium.
Awesome. And so where do you call home now? Where is home?
Well, home is Los Angeles, West Side till I die, but I'm living in Toronto, Canada, as of about 6 months ago.
Wow, so the weather change, 6 months, so you went right before winter then?
Well, no, I got there actually in like June, I believe, of last year, so I experienced a full-blown Canadian winter, and we're still enduring it right now, and yeah, it is the deal breaker. It's a deal breaker.
Quite the difference from Los Angeles, huh?
Man, my life has been miserable. I mean, I was so relieved to come down here because when I'm not in Canada, I've been traveling to the UK, and it's just
sweet.
But I mean, just the climate's in both. I mean, I'm a California boy, man. I'm used to be wearing like shorts, flip-flops everywhere I go. So that's why as soon as we were coming here to Florida, I was like fired up and like, oh, basketball shorts and flip-flops for me.
You're a surfer?
No, I mean, I did body surfing, boogie boarding, stuff like that. I mean, I was a beach bum.
Were you a traditional, like Muscle Beach? Were you that guy?
I got into it eventually. I mean, you know what I mean? Not when I was young. I was more like, I like to be on the beach and do beach kind of activities, you know what I mean? But once I was about 15, I started getting into the whole Muscle Beach and Venice, Gold's Gym, that whole thing. But I mean, that was all kind of part of my path to get into wrestling. I decided I wanted to get into wrestling. And I saw what they were looking at based on when I first initially started wrestling school, and then from just our childhood, everybody was so big and larger than life. So I concentrated on that aspect. I concentrated on bodybuilding. I concentrated on training and took that up as a hobby, and really enjoyed being out in that area and experiencing that.
So who were some of your favorites growing up, like watching wrestling?
Ultimate Warrior got me watching. You know what I mean, initially, but then Ultimate Warrior was in and out, and it was kind of hard. I still loved wrestling, after he left, and I remember I took a liking to Shawn pretty early, Michaels, when everybody, he basically influenced our whole generation, most of us.
Absolutely.
So, but watching his, so Warrior was in and out, and then Shawn's trajectory was pretty fun to watch, coming from a tag team and starting to have success as a singles guy, a guy that you didn't necessarily would think would make it to the top, and also just you started seeing a transition in the wrestlers. It wasn't as much of, and guys will argue this all the time, like the Ultimate Warriors and Hulk Hogan's are awesome, but I was kind of enjoying the Bret Harts, Kurt Hennig, Shawn Michaels, that whole genre of wrestlers who were all real athletic guys that could really kind of put on a good fundamental match. Right. You know what I mean? And they weren't maybe as cartoonish as some of the characters we had before, but you know, they still had their thing, man. They were cool. They were fun to watch.
Yeah, obviously, and then that brought in some of the, I don't want to say smaller, because still those guys were big.
Yeah, like
like
especially Kurt Hennig was definitely a damn big guy. I mean, they're all pretty damn big dudes. I mean, even if you were to compare them to today's guys, like I think what you're getting at, a lot of those guys are still much bigger than today's guys.
I mean, you look at a guy.
Well, do you put Daniel Bryan next to any of those guys, right? And Daniel Bryan's pretty small next to any one of them. You know, like he'd be closest to Sean, I guess.
Right. Yeah. A guy like Billy Gunn, who you watched on TV, and you saw him on TV, and he was just as tall, just as big as anybody on TV. Yep. And then you watch him walk into an indie show, yep. and he's ginormous. And he's ginormous. Yeah, he's enormous. You don't think about it because again, when he was wrestling. That's what the guys look. That was the size.
Yeah, we always Billy Gunn is also the most deceptively big guy ever because he looks big on TV, you said, but then you see him in real life and looks every bit of that, if not bigger.
Ginormous.
Yeah, because he's tall and big too. You know what I mean?
He's
very tall. He's taller than me, but he's probably 6'6" or something, and then he's even thicker than me.
And then he can move.
I always mess with him though because I'm usually more ripped than him, so that's where I have him. You know what I mean? He's always bigger, and he's always, of course, me 6'6", but I'm always leaner than him. But I don't even know if that's true right now, actually. So,
so you were saying you do the UK tours. Do you ever get a chance to just do some of the downtime over there, man? Like the touristy stuff?
Oh man, I've had way too much downtime in the UK. I'm looking for downtime in other places. Nothing against the UK. UK is great and everything, but I spent much time there because. I would get booked there for a couple. I had my strongest run outside of WWE has been in the UK and Europe, and over the last few years, I've gone there so many times. I've literally lived out there. I've worked 4 times in 2 weeks, but then you got to hang out basically Monday through Friday, which is much different from what I'm doing now. Actually, I'm just flying in there for the 5-star wrestling and then flying out right after. So it's Tuesday, fly out, Friday, fly back in. But that's really exhausting. Really exhausting. That's every week.
Oh, that sounds exhausting.
Yeah.
A thing we like to do here on the Milo Beasley Show is called the Top 5, where I ask a random question. Now, I happen to find out, a little birdie told me that you did a guest spot on Big Time Rush.
Yeah.
Is this correct?
Yep.
First off, tell me about that experience. How did that happen?
Well, WWE connected me with them or suggested me for the role. They're looking for a wrestler, and this was before Big Time Rush ever aired. It was still we were in the first season essentially. So I mean, it wasn't necessarily the most best paying job I've ever had, but when it was presented to me, I kind of had a feeling. I'm like, this might be one of those shows that really hit. So it'll just be a good experience for me.
And then it became a traveling band.
Like a them?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the whole premise of it, and it's. They would go to school and they do all that, but they're also doing the music thing, I believe, at the same time. So it's, and it caught on just like I kind of suspected. After we shot it, I just went about my business, and then eventually it aired, and then I had all kinds of the most random people tell me that they watched me on. I had more people told me they watched me on that than pro wrestling. I mean, I even had, I think Undertaker came up to me and talked to me about how he saw me on that because he's watching with his kids.
Right.
Which was pretty weird, right?
Which brings us to our top 5. Random question. Top 5, no particular order, boy bands.
Oh, man, can I say none?
Yeah.
I guess Backstreet Boys would be... Backstreet Boys, right? They're good. Their songs, I can get down with some of their songs.
All right, how about top 5 bands? Top 5 bands of all time.
Oh, shit. Can we just say musicians?
Yeah, musicians too, yeah.
Okay, Tupac, for sure. Tupac, definitely. Let's see. Kendrick Lamar. We'll put Linkin Park on there.
Okay.
A lot of people are going to hate me for this, but fuck them. Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit.
And,
there was a... Sorry to sidetrack. There was a tag team that I used to wrestle, and they would do kind of like the New Jack thing where the music would play.
Yeah.
But it was Limp Bizkit. Break Stuff.
Yeah.
So I just heard that on repeat while getting my ass handed to me. So I hate that song.
Oh yeah, you just have bad memories.
Just so many
that
bad
song's
memories.
done for you.
Yeah, just
That song is over. You know what you need to do? You need to make some good memories with that song. You know what I mean? Like just to overshadow those. I mean, then it'll be back in your life again.
Man,
It'll be all
but yeah,
good.
that song.
I'm trying to think if there's a fifth, man. I mean, there's so many damn musicians. It's hard to narrow. I hate to narrow down the five because
Right.
everybody's gonna think I'm an asshole for not including somebody, you know. But well, we got 2 rap artists and 2 rock. I think there did I? Yeah, Kendrick Lamar.
yeah.
I said. I want to think if there's anybody that's standing out at me right now. I'll just leave it at that.
All right,
Just leave it at
cool.
that.
And of course, we mentioned Backstreet Boys and Big Time Rush because would you do TV in the future if they hit you up?
Oh, of course. Why not?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like living in LA, I got a lot of random gigs that kind of fell in my lap. But I also did acting and modeling as a kid, so it just.
As well, you're you're probably the best looking guest I've ever had on my show.
Oh, thank you. I'll take that. I'll take that. So yeah, man, like those kind of opportunities, you can't pass them up. You know, like Carlito, a good friend of mine, obviously just did Glow. You know, the season of Glow, and I just keep telling him, man, that's the best gig you got right there. You know what I mean? Because I mean, we love wrestling and everything,
Yes.
but we've been lacing boots for 16 years now, and you know, sometimes when you're in the wild, wild west, outside of WWE and all that, you see some crazy shit, and that can be fun and all, but you know, when you're getting older and stuff, it's not always so. You know what I mean? It can be a little depressing too at the same time.
So before we wrap up, where can folks find you on the social medias?
Chris Masters 310 on Twitter. I think it's the same on Instagram. Chris Masters. Yeah, like Chris Masters. If you type that in, you'll find me. There's a little blue check. Thanks to Impact Wrestling. Appreciate that, guys. And yeah, you'll find me on there.
And you can follow me on all the socials at The Wrestling Bum. Please subscribe on the YouTube. New YouTube user agreement sucks, so I need all the subscribers I can get. So thank you for watching the Milo Beasley Show. Special guest Chris Masters. Thank you for chatting with me, buddy.
No problemo.
And we're going to go watch some ladies slam each other.
Yes.
All right.
Love it.
See you guys.
I'm a sucker for Ready to Rumble. Always have been. Goldberg and Sting, those are my boys. I
Okay.
love them. That's what got me into wrestling. That's what inspired me. Those guys.
Okay, Ready to Rumble. Love that movie.
So I think that's a good one.